Hey everybody, I'm severely Mame, and today I wanted to take a dive into the vintage fashion world and give you a special interview with my friend Stephanie. She is, in my opinion, the queen of vintage knit sets, and I figured what a better way to kind of finish up the winter season than to talk to one of the girls with the biggest collection that I know of. She's got some great pieces, and I just wanted to talk to her about knitwear and vintage fashion in general, and I thought that that would be great for all of us to see and take part in viewing her collection and all of her tips and tricks on wearing and maintaining vintage style while wearing vintage knits.
So I'm Stephanie, or Stevie on a lot of my social media, and my main Instagram account is Sly Styly. And then I have my selling page, which is Stevie's Vintage Closet. And I also have an art page, which is Stevie Lawless. So I kind of have multiple handles going on right now.
Thank you so much for coming into your own home, but via video to mine today.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. Now, first thing I want to ask you is just what are your pronouns?
She, her.
Great. Just wanted to make sure for everyone who watches this and might feel the need to comment, now you know. But I figure we'll get into the questions. We'll start with just some getting to know you ones.
Cool.
First one is, what's your favorite old movie?
So I was thinking about this, and I love kind of classic old school. What got me into everything is Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, because how can it not be?
Yeah.
I was obsessed with the clothing, but kind of the birds is actually my favorite.
Ooh.
I finally got to introduce my wife to it recently, and she was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And I thought it was gonna be awful. And I'm like, you're welcome. It's absurd. And just so, I don't know. I love it.
I feel like The Birds is such a great movie just for so many reasons, but one of them is it's actually scary the first time you watch it, because when you think about it, you're like, wait, there's no real cause for this. This could just happen. Like, there's some reality in the fear behind that, like watching that makes that movie really good. So I fully understand that. And also, Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, my partner knows when like I've put it on, it's like I need comfort. Like I've seen it hundreds of times.
It's so good. Like, yeah, that's exactly it. It's a comfort movie.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful to look at.
The costuming is so good. Like, it's like you watch it and you want everything. And it's so funny because when I like watch it, I'm not like watching it for Marilyn Monroe. I'm like, she's great, whatever. But I'm a Jane Russell, like, which I feel like I can tell that you are also a Jane Russell type.
Yeah.
We are not blondes. We are the brunette, like, kind of girls.
Exactly.
Like, even if we don't have the hair, we are that kind of girl. Like, it's
always, yeah.
But that's both of those movies are very good choices, because I was like, oh, I should have like the same intro questions for everybody when I do this. Yeah, I'm like, it's going to be interesting to see what everyone kind of chooses. So I'm very happy that Gentlemen Prefer Blondes was the first one mentioned, because it's like that and White Christmas I can just like watch on a loop.
Oh my gosh, that's every single year without fail. Like, that is the movie. Like, have to watch it. Have to.
It's so funny because I don't even consider it a Christmas movie, really. There's like the one Christmas scene at the beginning and the one Christmas scene at the end. And if you just watch the middle without those, there's zero Christmas involved.
Exactly.
It's like winter themed-ish.
Yeah. It's perfect. And like, I love when the guys do the number for the girls.
It's so good. All the costumes in that. And like, I don't even feel myself super drawn to 50s costuming as much anymore. But still, I watch it and I'm like, I want that, I want that, I want that.
Yes, it's all just like perfectly done in a way that can blend into multiple eras, I feel like, too, and pieces of it that you can make anything you want.
Yeah. And it doesn't have that issue that I feel like when you're first getting into vintage clothing, you want to look like people in movies. And it's like, you're not gonna, like, your first vintage look, you're not gonna look like Marilyn Monroe and Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Let's be honest. But
No.
you know who you can look like? Rosemary Clooney in White Christmas, because she wears normal, like, beautiful outfits, and her hair is like coiffed in a nice style, but it's not like
Yeah,
the perfect, crazy, like big, long, curly something. It's like a paperboy
exactly.
bob. Uh,
Exactly.
it's it's a reasonable goal.
Yes, it's like a realistic, approachable look at what you could wear on a regular basis without trying that hard.
Yeah.
It's
She has this one look that I specifically think of all the time that's like a yellow and black, like button down or tied top with like a black pencil skirt and like a baby doll heel. And I'm like, that's
yep.
just a good outfit.
Yeah, for everything.
Yes.
Like, oh, I love vintage.
So that brings me to the next question of when did you start wearing vintage full time?
So I've always kind of been like a thrifter. I love digging through stuff, and I've always been attracted to the older, like, vintage styles. I went through the whole like 70s phase briefly, and I did a lot of the 80s stuff. But so that's been for probably 15 to 17 years. But then about 10 years ago, I got really into the 40s, 50s kind of looks. But a lot of it was like repro, and I just didn't quite feel like it fit me right, or that I was trying to fit into this weird bubble. And then I got really into true vintage pieces once I understood like measurements and how to find things. And so that's been nonstop for like 2, 3 years of basically everything in my wardrobe is true vintage now, minus like hiking clothes. So, because I'm not hiking in any of this, but that's about it. Like everything. I mean, I have this giant rack right in front of me. Just one side is clothes, the other side is all my peignoirs and lingerie.
You really, yeah, you come through with the looks on social media. We have very different lives. I can tell because like when I look like garbage, I truly look like garbage, and that's most days. It's like the days I'm filming, I put it on, but like
Yeah.
I'll see like a cute photo of you, and you're like, your hair isn't like curled with every perfect piece, and like,
Yeah.
but you still look so hot, and I'm just like,
Oh,
oh, great. I was like, cool. She just like got something new in the mail and tried it on and looks really good, and I cannot do that. I look
oh,
scary.
thank you. I swear there's a lot of time where I look like a troll, and I've like climbed out from under the covers and I'm in like sweatpants with like hair sticking everywhere and knots, but I I can kind of like play it off, and I have good lighting, and I'm like, look, I look ethereal, not like the troll I am underneath the pier.
Yes, I appreciate the honesty there because especially in quarantine, we are all like, there's not a single one of us who isn't like looks like a troll occasionally over the last
Really? Yeah. Yeah.
like I wake up most days like I couldn't believe that I put on a bra for this interview. I was like, this is wild. But I was like,
I
oh, I need like the like
yes.
Stephanie torpedo boob. Like
Pretty much. You gotta bring it. So
yeah, I was like, okay, so I was supposed to wear my knit set, didn't finish it, didn't even pick it up to try and finish it.
it's
Still under the
fine.
bed. I was like, I'll put on my 50s like red sweater with all red plastic jewelry.
Yeah.
And like as you were like getting into the Zoom, I was like finishing painting my nails. I was like, oh, I should probably do that.
I got my polish off. I did not get polish back on.
Would you do it like, do you do it at a salon, like the whole gels or whatever?
No, I never did, because I am such a klutz that I have broken my nails so many times and split them that it was just like not worth it anymore. And because I paint, I would get paint everywhere, and then it was impossible to get off without wrecking the polish. So I just do it all myself, and I'm
Yeah.
like, whatever I do, I do. And if I don't, then, but God, I would love to have nice nails on a regular basis.
So I used to be like total like crazy nail girl. I loved going and getting them done because I like having long nails, especially for sewing. I find it helpful to have like long points I can use.
Yes. Yep.
But in quarantine, obviously that doesn't happen. Also, I kind of started being poor, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna
Feel you.
stop doing this. And then mine just have grown out like crazy, but I broke this one a couple days ago.
Oh my God, those are your real nails?
Yeah.
I'm so jealous.
My partner like half loves it and half hates it. Like they get the best back scratches in the world, but also they have a
Yep.
scar on their wrist from when I accidentally like caught them with one of my nails like 2 months ago.
I feel that. Yeah. Yeah.
Just like, oh, whoops. And they like realized it was a scar yesterday. They're like,
Oh
I
no.
think I have a scar. And I was like, I actually noticed that 2 nights ago. And I just assumed one of us dropped a cigarette on you at some point. And like, that's what it was. They're like, no, it's where you gouged me with your nail. I was like, dang, that's
Oh my
rough.
gosh.
I,
Claws.
it's really just the glamorous life I lead.
Yep.
Um, so as we're talking about both quarantine and vintage clothing, what is your like go-to vintage quarantine piece? Something you just kind of wear when you're at the house, but is still a true vintage moment.
I live. And my big cozy sweater.
Ooh, that's so cute.
It's so cozy and it's gigantic and I don't care. And I wear it to pick up food. I wear it to run to the post office. I wear it when I'm lounging on the couch. I wear it camping. I live in that thing. It's
Well,
the
it's
best.
extremely cute. So like, is that one like 50s vintage or is it one of the,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Mary Martin is like, I think Mary Martin, I might be wrong if that's the name.
Yes. Right.
I think so, like did all of those patterns and they like
Yeah.
still actively sell all of them pretty much.
Yeah.
Um, so like I had found a similar kind of idea, but it was like the same, almost the same colors as yours, but it was a like square dancing couple cape.
Oh my
But it was
God.
like from the 80s and it was the worst, grossest acrylic. And I
Oh,
held on to it for years. And then when I was
yeah.
moving, I gave it to the friend I was shopping with at the time because they really wanted it. And I was like, I just
Oh,
need to keep it because it was when I was first really getting back into knitting. And I was like, this is crazy. I'm just going to keep this for a while.
yeah.
Um, but those are just, I don't have one of those sweaters yet.
Get one.
And I need to get one. Yeah.
You need one. It's everything. And especially when you do like a nice, that's why I like the 50s ones because everything they knit with was so soft. Like I
It's
live for it.
yeah, it's like right before synthetics really hit like knitting. Because I think
Yeah.
you'll hit the 60s and I think home knitters weren't working with it as much.
Mm-hmm.
But 70s for sure, like most home
Oh,
knitters
yeah.
were doing both like blends and whatever. So that's a really good quarantine piece because it's like
Yeah.
far more comfortable looking than mine, which is like a vintage slip that I like live in and then I
Yeah.
rip the one of the straps on. So
You know.
then I changed over to like this like pencil skirt, actually the one that I'm wearing, and then I ripped it. I'm just like this is why like sometimes I'm like I should not be allowed to handle vintage and then I'm like wait, but I repair it too. Like someday I will
Yeah.
actually repair everything.
Exactly.
But that's like a big someday. You know, if
It'll
I'm not
happen
selling
eventually.
it. Yeah. If I'm not like once I maybe feel pressure that we're gonna be like leaving the house again, then I'll be like, okay,
Right.
everything gets fixed.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna re-enter the world looking gorgeous. Let's do this. And then we'll see how much that actually happens. But when you were last out in the world, what was, the last thing you dressed up for?
So we always went to the garden. It's like this little local one that we love to walk around. And then right after, we'd always go to our favorite bar and get our little vegan breakfast burrito and have a beer or three. And so that was like our go-to weekend thing. And it was actually like the weekend before my birthday. And we had done the garden. We went to go get our drinks. We were at the beer. We were at the bar. And I haven't had any beer yet. And we were talking to the bartender about how weird everything was feeling. We were like, I think stuff's going to get really serious soon. And he's like, I just hope people take it serious. And then we got home and I worked from home already. So I was like, all right, this feels strange. And I told my wife, like, make sure you bring your laptop home this week. Like, you're not going back to work. She's like, no. And I'm like, no, you're not going back. And so my last outfit I even got to wear in public was one of my favorite knits. It's like this first time I've ever seen one either. It's like this kind of burnt orange reddish color and it buttons all the way down. And I've just never seen one that does that. It's only ever like a sweater that buttons or, you know, a pullover piece. So at least I got to go out with a bang on that one.
That's a really good last outfit, because I'll put the photo in while you're talking about it too, because you sent me that. And that knit it's like a good place to pause, not end, but pause.
Yeah.
Because I don't even I don't remember what our real last outing was, but I think the last thing we did like with friends and out of the house was we went to see Orville Peck, so we were in our Western outfits that I made.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that sounds like a good last outing. Like, I kind of wish ours would have been something, you know, in that vein of like go do a couple favorite spots.
Yeah.
But also it was like, I think by the time quarantine was starting, it was maybe getting towards 100 degrees outside here already.
Oh, yeah.
So then it was like, we're not going anywhere.
No, you're not going anywhere anyways.
Yeah, exactly. We're doubling down. Like, we were almost like this summer, I don't think we got super antsy because we were just like, well, it's summer in Arizona. We stay inside in the air conditioning.
Exactly. Like, we're used to that because we live in hot places.
Yeah.
It's like you stay inside or you go inside another place that you go.
Yeah. So I'm like, and this year I'm just like, oh, I'm so ready. Because it's going to be another summer, you know, of us being indoors until everybody can get vaccinated. So it's just like, we've got another summer of staying inside.
For sure.
Like, I'm ready this time. I'm just like, I feel like I'm ready to do it, unlike the last time. So, you know, let's see, I guess, where, I'm curious what our first outfits are going to be once we can get out.
Back out. Yes.
Yeah, like, with how long it is, I feel like we can't even guess. Like, we could just have just the most absurd finds. And yes, this is what I'm saving to wear first.
Yes. It's like we're all going to go out in like absolutely absurd ball gowns and crazy things that we never would have worn before because we're like, screw it. I've been inside locked away for a year and a half. So
yes, exactly. I'm gonna like bangles up to my elbows.
Yes.
I'm like already wearing 2 brooches, but I'm like, I'll just cover my entire chest in brooches. Just like go big. I'm like, you guys haven't seen anything I've got for the last year, and I've been constantly buying.
Same. It's the only reason I post is because I'm like, this is the only place I can show you guys like all the pretty things.
I at least now have YouTube to like kind of show things, but
yes,
I also am like, well, it's just like I put it on. It's not like when I would go somewhere and be like, oh, look at this thing that I got or made.
Right. But
it's like on YouTube, I'm just like, I will wear it and hope people notice it. I don't know. The glasses have been a big hit. That's the They're one amazing thing. I cannot believe they were, before the prescription put in them, they were $7.
What? Oh my gosh.
I think I'm going to order like a few backup pairs just in case they ever cancel them or whatever.
Definitely.
Discontinue was the word I was looking for. Thank you. Now I think, you know, we've kind of started a little bit, but like, let's talk knit. This is what we're here for. So the first thing I just wanted to ask is like, what set is this? Who is it made by? Like, tell me all about what you're wearing.
So this one sadly doesn't have a label. And I hate when they don't have a label because then I can't go and like stalk the brand and try to find more. But it's one of my absolute favorites. It's got like this perfect little Angora like detailing. And that's why I wore it, because I was just like, every time I wear this one, I'm just like so geeked out by this whole entire like part right here. And I, you know, it's a pretty like simple one. I'll do a whole up down video, but it's just really lightweight, which is good for LA because it gets stupid hot here. So I can wear this one without like absolutely dying in it. Like I have some that are thick that are winter knits.
Yeah.
But
this one is a full dress or a set?
So it's a set. So it's got the skirt and the top, and then it has like a little zipper down the back so you can actually get it on. And I hate high collar on me normally because I don't like that tight feeling. But this one is so stretchy. It's just like really nice how this one was made, and it actually like curls around. So I love this one.
So cute. I didn't realize that it was like Angora.
Yeah.
So it's like a little fuzzier than the rest. Ugh.
It's so
So
good.
cute. Do you know like
I'm
the dating on this one? Like when do you think this one's from?
I would definitely put this one probably mid to late 50s, just because it is starting to kind of fall more into that. Like, I love a lot of the early 60s knits too. Like, later 60s, they got really boxy and square.
Hmm.
And that shape is not good on me. I have too short of a torso, too big of a bust that I end up looking like a potato.
Yeah.
It's not good for anybody. and, but I want to say that this one's around that based off of the style of it compared to other ones that I have, as well as just like the actual wool itself feels a lot like my other ones from that era. My 40s ones tend to feel, it's like not rougher, but they feel thicker almost, like there's something more gritty to it.
Almost like knobby. I've
Yeah,
it
yeah, exactly.
because I've handled like enough 40s knits that I kind of
Yes,
because there's one that we'll talk about later, the 40s one that you
yes,
have, and that one looks like the yarn almost has like a nub to it.
totally.
Um, so, so what like drew you into vintage knits? Like, how did you get to be kind of the queen of knit?
So that's kind of like a few things. I had a couple skirts that I'd found at thrift stores that I loved because I was like, oh, there's no zipper, no buttons. I can just pull this thing on and it just fits. And then I got a sweater one day and I was like, oh, it's not like hanging off me. It's not baggy. And because my like bust to waist ratio is really drastic, as well as how short waisted I am, I just struggled to find actual vintage that could like accommodate all of those like components. I'd either be busting out of buttons or having to like adjust things. And I don't like to alter vintage too much, like in a permanent way. I'm all about taking a seam in or doing things like that, of course. But with knits, it's like I can just see one. And if I think it's pretty, buy it because 9 times out of 10, it's going to fit me. If
Mhm.
it's too big, it's not the end of the world. If it's too small, then like, you can still usually squeeze into it, but then I just pass it along. And so that's really what got me into them at first. But then it was like all the tiny details, like this one with the Angora, sometimes the beading, the buttons, all these details that they put in just totally blew me away, making everyone feel so different. And one of my friends, Tina, the prior queen of knits, in my opinion, she is the one who started it. And I blame her for my obsession. So I got 2 of her sets and just was obsessed from then on. And
Uh, it's good
now
to
it's
know
taken
the
off.
source of your problems in
Yeah.
collecting obsessions. It's yeah, I love the humble brag of your bust to waist ratio moment.
It's like I can finally appreciate it. It's always been so irritating.
Oh, I bet.
And now it's like, hell yes, it finally pays off.
Yeah, I feel like I've consistently admired your figure and like when you like are posting photos because I'm like I understand why other drag queens pad when I look at
Mm-hmm.
you. I'm like I get it.
Yeah.
Like this is what they are after. And I'm like
Oh,
I'm
thanks.
too lazy to do this. Also, I used to be like a big corset queen. That was like my thing. Before it
Oh,
was like
love
everyone was
corsets.
always wearing corsets and drag.
Mm-hmm.
I was like getting my waist down to like a 24.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
so it only
Wow.
actually happened like once, but
Still.
but yes, I you do have wonderful proportions. So knitwear makes so much sense for you. You just always look fantastic in it. So what's your oldest knit?
So it's kind of, I have a couple of them that are all 40s, but my oldest one I want to say is the Snyder knit that I have. It's this beautiful, like tan kind of cream dark color. And it's got these like little scalloped edges with the covered buttons, and just the way that it's put together, like, is so amazing. Like you can just tell that somebody spent so much time making this and putting all these extra teeny details that you don't notice from afar, and then you get close and you see this intricate like pattern put into it. But I want to say that that one, from the tag, it's a Snyder knit, and a lot of those ones are like early 40s. I don't have any 30s ones. I just don't like, the silhouettes don't work on me. But so I've kind of only stuck with my 40s pieces to the 50s and 60s.
That makes sense. Yeah, the detailing that they put in vintage clothing is like one of the huge reasons why people have not only like maintained it for all the years, but like that's why it always can be worn like effortlessly. Like you can just look good in a nice, well-made piece with great detailing.
Yeah.
Now I have called you the queen of knit sets. I won't allow you to deny the title. But that brings me to the topic of Knit-vember. Was that your brainchild this past year?
Yeah. So funny enough, I was at Crash the Party, which I can't really go anywhere with COVID due to my health issues, but Mel there is phenomenal, and it's just me and her, and we're talking, and she said she wanted to do this thing in November where she was going to show off her knits, and I was like, I'm doing Knit-vember all of November, and she's like, okay, I'm stealing the name, and I was like, cool, let's combine this together. And so we just took it from there, and then everyone else sort of like joined in the party, and it was so much fun. It's just like I've collected for so long now that I wanted to be able to like show all of them, as well as the fact that they don't have to look dressed up, or you don't have to always overdo it. And then she had this killer collection of like cardigans and sweaters that totally drastically different from what I wear, even though they're both knits. And so it was really fun to see everybody else join in with their pieces, and even restyling the same piece 4 or 5 times, like a few people did. And that was just so neat to see. Like they just wore the same outfit and you wouldn't even know it, because of every time they styled it, it was different. And
do you want to just
really
explain to the people who aren't in the know exactly what Knit-vember was this year?
Yeah. So it was just the kind of title we used to do like a daily knit look. Since November, it starts to get cold for almost everybody. You know, we were still struggling here with a few 80-degree days, but it was just each day taking either a full knit set like what I'm wearing, or whatever kind of knit piece you had. And some people even were knitting their own items to wear on certain days, and just kind of showcasing whatever your favorite item was, or wearing all of your different ones every single day, like my craziness did, because I'll take the title. Yes, I'm the knit queen. And so I had exactly 30 at the time, and I was like, oh, you know, I'll start with this. And then I ended up with way over 30 by the end of November. And I kind of kept it going later. But yeah, it was just a fun way for a whole bunch of people who liked the similar kind of styles to meet each other online. Like I made a lot of friends during that I had no clue about, who were also really into knits. So it was a lot of fun.
I love that. It was like fun to watch. I was excited by it, and I was like, oh, I should join in. And I was like, wait, I don't have any knit sets anymore. I have one that I bought like, I don't know, 6, maybe more years ago for like $35 from Darla DeVille. I I remember it had like a couple holes in it, but it was like a 50s, like early 50s, like dolman sleeve cardigan.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
And it's still in storage. I still have it, but like it's in New York in storage. And yeah, it's very funny that I got it for $35.
I'm so jealous.
I know. I think Knit-vember is a little bit to blame on the price spike there. So yeah. You dug your own grave a little bit.
Pretty much.
But you know, worth it, because trends always pop up in the vintage world and you never know what it's going to be. And you luckily had a good stock when these came into trend.
Thank goodness.
So you can always wait it out until like nobody cares about them again.
I really hope like this next fall we come up with something else so I can start like getting all my knits back.
Yes, slowly piecing them all back into your closet.
Yes.
So what's your favorite knit set?
So I have a couple. It's really hard. Like my personal collection is usually between 30 and 35. It just kind of comes and goes. But there's this orange Lasso Scotland, which is one of my all-time favorites. And orange is so not a color I normally do. Like I had bright orange hair for a long time, which I loved, very similar to your shade. And it was like the best. And every time I see you, I'm always like, I should do that again. But so I never wore orange clothes, and I got this from Tina, and it has the Angora like detailing on the collar as well, and on the sleeves, and just like a little keyhole neck to it. And I don't know, it was like the first time I put it on, it was just like, this knit will never leave my closet. And this one is one of my other favorite ones. And also, again, it's the Angora. I'm a sucker for the Angora.
It's hard not to be. These are very good sets. I understand why they're your favorite. And also, as someone with orange hair, I do not really wear orange.
Right?
Because I don't want to take... I usually try and wear green to complement it the best, you know?
That's what I did, yeah.
I usually also don't like wearing red clothing, but I wanted to wear this knit because it's you. And also, I wanted to just do all red accessories.
I really, really love this, like, especially that shade of red. Like,
this is another thing I bought like 6 years ago, like maybe more. And it has the little zipper on the neck, so it stays tight. Yeah. It's like very much a favorite. I
see why.
Yeah. With black hair, you could easily go to orange without too much damage. So I'm very pro that.
Yeah, oh my God, I used to have hair down to like here and it was bright orange. I'll send you a picture. It was so amazing and I miss it so much.
Have you ever seen photos like, okay, some people know about this, some people don't. My friends and I have the Best Friends Club. At Best Friends Club Official is our Instagram.
Oh my gosh.
And at one point, all of us had orange hair. And then I moved here from New York to Arizona. And me, Lauren, and Cheyenne all had orange hair and would go everywhere together, always like in, cute vintage outfits with bright orange hair.
I love that.
It's like just such like a thing. And then in all the gay bars, we were called the Clementines. Like it was truly a moment. And then all of us dyed our hair. Like I dyed my hair black. Lauren dyed her hair black with me. We like started with like black streaks for Halloween. And then we're like, let's just dye all of our hair black. Yeah. And then Cheyenne went blue for a while. And now she's a blonde. And I'm like, I have to go back to orange, people. I need the orange again.
Yes. I love the orange. It's so good.
It's just, at this point, I have to do it. The people want it. I have no say anymore. Now I want to just break for a second and say thank you for watching. If you like what you're watching, make sure to hit that like button down below and hit the subscribe and bell notification so you can be notified whenever I post. If you really like what's going on here and want to help me continue to make it, you can follow the link below to my Patreon to become a patron and help all of this be possible. You can head on over to patreon.com/severelymame to check this out. And now we'll get right back into the interview with Stephanie Lawless, where we start to talk about her Instagram inspirations. You've mentioned a couple people so far, but who on social media inspires you in fashion, in your art, all of that?
So I have to pull up my notes because I'm gonna forget. I'm so bad at names. Like I can sing you an entire album, not good, with every single word, but if you ask me who's in the band, I'm like, the guy? Like, I'm awful.
I'm like, I'm just not a names person.
Me either. I'm so bad at it.
Maybe we can make the next trend like monogrammed things to help us, but like with a full name instead of just a monogram. Like that's the new trend we can try and push for all the names we can never remember.
That. I really like that because I'm horrible. Like I can't remember anything. I'll be like, oh, there's this great artist. And then I spend half an hour hunting on, because I don't remember what their name is. So like I have a really nice little like group of vintage friends that it's just been amazing that I've met mainly during quarantine. It has brought out like just really awesome relationships. But my friend Tina, who I've talked about a few times, she's like one of my go-to people. Her, my friend Caitlin and Savannah. So us three all have the same nightgown. And so we just started this little group as a joke, kind of like when you were talking about with the Clementines. And it was like the Ruffle Gang. And it's just turned into this whole thing where it's always us chit-chatting. But I actually just adore Savannah art, though. Her art account, she does art for some really huge TV shows, and she's really talented. But then she has her own entire style that she does, and it blows me away because it's like pinup and really cute, but it's also not. Like, it's so unique. I don't know. I adore it. And Marla Von Duda, which basically we all know her. She's like classic, just phenomenal style as well for art. Which is funny because I love both of their artwork, but it's nothing like what I do. But I adore it. And then I have just a few other ladies that I just think their style is really cool. The Lady Button is just got a really unique look. And every time she styles something, I'm just always really drawn to her pictures. They're just so well done and different, I think, than a lot of what I see. And there's a lot of other really big accounts that I am obsessed with, but these are kind of more those little people that I've like found in my bubble that are like in that same range. And I don't know. I think that they just have the neatest look to them. And then I have another friend, Caitlin, as well, who just has also has a really cool look. And she's been doing this really cute, like lesbian Pulp Fiction thing with me. We both kind of started doing it, and it's just been really fun to see these little stories and to put an image with it. It's just a different kind of vibe. And they all have vintage aesthetics without being like the same cookie cutter look, and we don't all have the same like style. So it's really fun to get inspiration from them.
Yeah, that's so great. And there's like a few people from that list that I have to go follow, which is exciting because it's, you know, you love looking at the pages that always inspire you, but finding new ones is so important.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't, you know, follow other pages, I would just be an exact copy of Sarah Lily's Remains, like just who I always want to be, but you know, can't always deliver in being. So I get to find other people to inspire me, like you. I've actually decided to cut this video into 2 parts. We ended up being on a call for almost an hour and a half, so I figured there was too much good stuff to cut out. Why not cut this into 2 parts for all of you? So make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell notification so you can see when part 2 of this interview with Stephanie is out.